Let's review some terms from geometry. Some of these terms we have covered back in one of the beginning modules, and some are review from your geometry course in high school. First of all, a full rotation is 365 degrees. So, for example, in this picture, if I have A, B, and C all added together, since they add up to be a perfect circle, that would be 360 degrees. So I could write A plus B plus C equals 360. A straight angle equals 180. So in this case, A plus B would equal 180. The degrees in a triangle always add up to 180. So in this case, A plus B plus C would be 180. Angles that are straight across from each other are called vertical angles and are equal. So if there's two straight lines that intersect, the angles that are across from each other are called vertical angles, they're equal. So A and B are equal. These two angles would also be equal. Adjacent angles of intersecting lines are supplementary. That means they add to 180. Remember, supplementary is when two angles add up to be 180. Complementary is when they add up to be a right angle, 90. So A plus B would equal 180. Also, there are other adjacent angles too. For example, this line right here, this also adds up to 180. So A plus C would also make 180 degrees. We will use these and some of our algebra to find angles. So let's look at some problems and see how the geometry and algebra are combined. First, this picture is not drawn to scale. So we have 3x plus 5 and 7x minus 7. These are vertical angles. They're right across from each other. So vertical angles are equal. So we know that 3x plus 5 is equal to 7x minus 7. So now that we have that algebraic equation, now we should be able to solve it. Okay, let's go through our solving steps. First, is there any simplifying to be done on either side of the equal sign? No, 3x plus 5, 7x minus 7, they're all the way simplified. Next problem, I have x's on both sides. I have to use my algebra trick to get rid of that. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. So I get 5 equals 4x minus 7. Now I can do my solving steps. Go to the side with the x, undo what's been done to the x. So to undo subtracting 7, we add 7 to both sides. And to undo timesing by 4, we divide by 4 on both sides. X equals 3. Now, what did the question ask? Find the two angles. We know that x equals 3, so now we should be able to plug that back into these expressions to figure out what these two angles are. So we know to take 3 times the x, well, x is 3, so 3 times 3 plus 5. 9 plus 5 is 14, so this angle is 14. So this angle should also be 14. So let's see. 7 times 3 is 21. 21 minus 7 is 14. Both of these angles are 14. Again, they don't look like it. This is not drawn to scale. Okay, next problem. Find the two angles. Since these two angles make a straight line, make 180, these are called adjacent angles. And we know that if we add them together, we will get 180. Oops. They're not equal to each other like the last one. We have to add them. 4x plus 8 plus 10x plus 32 equals 180. So let's solve this. Okay, can we simplify it all? Well, there's no distributive property, but look at the expression on the left side of the equals sign. I can simplify that by adding some like terms. Those two terms can go together to give me 14x. And 8 and 32 can go together to give me 40. Again, at this point, I wouldn't combine the 40 and the 80 because they're on opposite sides of the equal sign. I want to simplify this expression on the left side of the equal sign. And if I can, this expression on the right side of the equal sign. That can't be simplified at this point. Okay, so now, do I have x's on both sides? No. So I can skip right to the solving step. Go to the side that has the x on it, undo what's been done to the x. Divide both sides by 14. X equals 10. Okay, so x equals 10, that's not the end of my problem though, because I'm supposed to find the two angles. So if I know x is 10, I just sub a 10 in for x. 4 times 10 plus 8. 40 plus 8. This angle is 48. Now to find this angle, I can just take 180 minus 48, or I can sub x into my expression. 10 times 10 plus 32. 100 plus 32 is 132. And again, if I add 48, 132, I should get 180. Let's start over here with this triangle problem. I know that all three angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So make an equation out of it. 2x plus 3x plus 4x equals 180. Now we just solve that equation for x. So let's see, can I simplify it all? Yes, I can add my like terms. 2x plus 3x plus 4x. 2x plus 3x is 5x plus 4x is 9x all together. I don't have x's on both sides, so I can just go right into solving. Undo what's been done to the x. So go to the side with the x. To undo timesing by 9, you divide by 9. X equals 20. Let's go back over to this problem that I skipped. All right, what do we know about this picture? Well, we know that all the angles of a triangle will add up to be 180. So 4x plus 5x plus this angle make 180. We also know that this straight angle is going to add up to 180. So 4x plus 30 plus this angle also makes 180. So let's see if we can make an equation out of all of this so that we can solve for x. Okay, I want to name this angle right here. There's a couple ways I can do it. I'm going to show you one way, but there are a couple of other ways. Okay, let's see. We know that all the angles of a triangle add up to be 180, right? So I can actually call this angle 180 minus 9x. I'll show you where I got that. If all three angles add up to be 180, let's see, 4x and 5x is 9x. So all three of them add up to be 180. If I take 180 and subtract off 4x and 5x, I should get the measure of this angle. So now I have an algebraic expression for this angle, 180 minus 9x. I also know that if you add these two angles, you'll get 180. So I can make that into an equation. The first angle plus the second angle are adjacent angles. Therefore, when they're added together, they make 180. Now that I have an algebraic equation, I should be able to solve it and find x. So can I simplify either of my expressions? Yes, I can simplify this one. Add your like terms. I do not have x's on both sides, so I can just go to the side with the x and start solving. I'm going to undo adding 210. Think money. I had $180 and I lost 210. That puts me in the hole. Puts me in the hole 30. Now I want to undo timesing by -5, so I will divide both sides by -5. Okay. X equals 6. So I'm not done. I still have to find what all these angles are. This one is 4 times x. Well, x is 6. So 4 times 6, that makes this angle 24 degrees. 5 times x, x is 6, so that makes this angle 30 degrees. And so this angle, I can sub my 6 in there. 180 minus 9 times 6, or minus 54. And I get 126. And then x is 6, so 4 times 6 plus 30. This angle is 54. So all 3 of the angles of the triangle should add to 180, and my adjacent angles should add to 180. Find the angles. Well, I have all 3 of these angles that when added together make a full rotation. So that means that if I add these angles all up, I should get 360 degrees. So let's make an equation out of that. And let's solve it. First, is there any simplifying to be done? Yet 1x plus 2x plus 3x, those are all like terms. Remember that when there's an x by itself, it has a coefficient of 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 3, so 6x altogether. 6x equals 360. And solve for x. Undo what's been done to x. Undo multiplying by 6, so I divide both sides by 6. X equals 60. So this angle is 60. This angle is 120. And this angle is 3 times 60, or 180 degrees.